And now your hosts, Christopher and Jenny, in Making Money with English.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. And today, we are going to try to unpack Forex Factory. It's one of those things, right? Like every Forex trader I talk to uses it.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of can be a bit overwhelming too, especially if you're just getting started.
Absolutely.
But before we get into the nitty gritty, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Forex Mentor Pro. They've been doing some really amazing work helping people break into the world of Forex trading. And one thing I think is really cool is they've been focusing on Central Asia, specifically Uzbekistan, and not only helping folks learn how to trade, but also giving them the English skills to really kind of navigate the global market, which is awesome.
That's super important.
Yeah, if that sounds like something you're interested in, or maybe you're bumping up against a bit of a language barrier yourself, we've got a link down below where you can learn more about Forex Mentor Pro and all the cool stuff they offer. Okay, now back to Forex Factory.
Yeah.
To help us break this down, we're going to be using a recent YouTube video from Finding Forex as our guide. I really like their approach. They do a great job of kind of walking through the site step by step, and we're going to pull out the most important insights for you as we go.
Sounds good. Yeah, Finding Forex is great. And I think the real value they add is showing you not just what the data is on Forex Factory, but how to actually connect that to your trading. So you're not just looking at numbers, but you're understanding what those numbers mean for your strategy.
Totally. It's like having all the ingredients but not knowing how to put together a recipe.
Exactly.
So let's start with the economic calendar, which is something I know a lot of people find pretty daunting at first.
Oh, yeah.
In the Finding Forex video, they point out this cool feature where you can actually filter the events by impacts level, ranging from gray, which is low impact, all the way up to red, which are like
big ones.
the market movers.
Yeah, those are the ones that can really shift the market, interest rate decisions, inflation reports, things like that. You really want to be paying attention to those red events.
Okay, so prioritize the reds. Got it. So to make this more concrete, they use the example of the Canadian CPI report in the video, which for folks who don't know, CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It's basically a measure of inflation.
Right, and it's a red level event because inflation has a huge impact on currencies.
Makes sense. But here's something I've always been kind of confused about. Isn't inflation like a bad thing? Like, doesn't that mean things are getting more expensive?
It can be, yeah, especially for consumers.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Forex, rising inflation can actually be good for a currency, at least in the short term.
Okay, really? Why is that?
So central banks often try to combat inflation by raising interest rates.
Okay.
And when a country's interest rates go up, that can attract foreign investment,
Hey.
which in turn increases demand for their currency. And when demand goes up,
The value goes up.
exactly. So even though people might be feeling the pinch at the grocery store, Forex traders might actually see it as a signal to buy that currency.
Okay, so it's all about perspective.
Right. Different players in the market have different priorities.
That's really interesting. It kind of flips the whole inflation narrative on its head.
It does, and that's why understanding the Forex market requires a different way of thinking.
For sure. So we've talked about filtering for those high-impact events, but how do we actually use that information to make trading decisions? Like, is there a way to know which way the market is going to swing?
There is, and Finding Forex highlights a super useful feature on Forex Factory called actual versus forecast. It's basically a comparison of the actual data released for an event and what economists were predicting beforehand.
Oh, that's cool. So you can see if the news is better or worse than expected.
Exactly, and that can give you a clue about how the market might react.
Okay, so let's go back to that Canadian CPI example. I remember in the video, they showed how the actual inflation number came in higher than the forecast.
Right, and that led to a jump in the Canadian dollar.
Because traders anticipated that the central bank would raise interest rates in response.
Exactly. They were basically betting that the news would push the currency higher.
Wow, so it's like having a sneak peek into the future.
Kinda, yeah. It's about using the information available to anticipate potential market movements.
This is starting to make a lot more sense.
Hey, thanks for being here with Making Money with English. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
I'm seeing how Forex Factory can be such a powerful tool.
It is, but it's important to remember that it's not about predicting the future with 100% certainty. It's about understanding probabilities and managing risk.
Right. Like no one has a crystal ball.
Exactly. But Forex Factory can definitely give you an edge.
I'm with you on that. So far, we've talked about filtering for high-impact events. And using that actual versus forecast data to get a sense of where the market might be heading, what else should we be looking at on Forex Factory?
Well, one thing that Finding Forex emphasizes, and I think this is really important, is the psychology behind those market reactions. It's not just about the numbers themselves, it's about how traders interpret those numbers. And that collective sentiment can be a really powerful force.
You mean like if everyone thinks a certain economic report is going to be bad for a currency, they all start selling it off. And that actually causes the currency to drop, even if the report isn't that bad objectively.
Precisely. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why understanding market sentiment is so crucial for Forex traders.
Okay, so we need to factor in the human element.
Absolutely. And that's actually where Forex Factory can be really helpful.
Really? How so?
It gives you a window into how other traders are thinking and feeling, which can give you a better sense of the overall market sentiment.
I see. So it's not just about the cold, hard data. It's about understanding the narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need both the quantitative and the qualitative to make informed decisions.
This is all starting to click, but how do we actually use all this information to make trading decisions? Like, does Finding Forex offer any practical tips on that?
They do. They talk about how you can use Forex Factory to identify potential trading opportunities based on upcoming news releases.
Okay, so you're not just reacting to the news, you're trying to anticipate it.
Exactly. Let's say there's a high-impact event on the horizon, and the general consensus is that the actual data is going to beat the forecast. A trader might buy that currency in anticipation of a positive reaction.
Ah, so it's like trying to get ahead of the curve.
Exactly. You're riding the wave of market sentiment.
But isn't that risky? What if the data doesn't come out as expected?
Of course there's risk, but that's where risk management comes in. The video emphasizes the importance of having a solid trading plan. You need to know your entry point, your exit point, and crucially, your stop-loss order to limit potential losses.
Right, so it's not about gambling, it's about calculating risk.
Exactly.
This is starting to make a lot more sense.
Good. Because here's where things get even more interesting. When we connect this back to the bigger picture, it's about understanding how all these pieces fit together. The economic data, central bank actions, market psychology. That's what can give you a real edge in Forex trading.
I'm with you. We've talked about economic data and how the market reacts to it. But how do central banks fit into this whole puzzle? I remember the video mentioning them in connection with inflation and interest rates.
Central banks are absolutely crucial in Forex. They essentially control the monetary policy of their countries or regions. They set interest rates, manage currency supply, all those things that have a huge impact on the Forex market.
So if a central bank raises interest rates, that could potentially strengthen their currency.
Right, because higher interest rates tend to attract foreign investment.
Exactly. And Forex Factory can be a great resource for staying up to date on central bank announcements, speeches, policy decisions, anything that might give you insight into their thinking and their potential impact on the market.
Absolutely. It's like having a direct line to the people pulling the levers.
I see. It's like a giant game of chess, and the central banks are the grandmasters,
I like that analogy.
making moves that can shift the entire board.
And successful Forex traders are the ones who can anticipate those moves, or at least react to them quickly and strategically.
So it's not just about reacting to the news, it's about understanding the forces driving the news, the economic data, the central bank's actions, and how those factors influence market sentiment.
Precisely, Forex Factory isn't a crystal ball,
Yeah.
but it gives you the tools and information to make more informed trading decisions.
This has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I'm finally starting to grasp the complexity, but also the potential of Forex trading.
It's a continuous learning process, and Forex Factory is a valuable companion on that journey.
Well said.
Well-
We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore. Forex Factory has a ton of features we haven't even touched on yet. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about one that can be a bit intimidating, but also incredibly valuable, the forums.
Yes, the forums can be a bit of a Wild West, but they're a goldmine of real-time market sentiment and trading ideas. You just have to know how to navigate them.
That sounds right up our alley. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the Forex Factory forums are essentially a massive online community of Forex traders from all over the world. You've got everyone from seasoned professionals to newbies just starting out.
So what kind of information can we find there? Is it just people chatting about the market?
It's much more than that. You'll find discussions on everything, from fundamental analysis to technical strategies, trade ideas, market outlooks, you name it. It's like a constant stream of market intelligence.
Well, that sounds overwhelming. But how do you separate the wheat from the chaff? I mean, with so many voices, it must be hard to know who to trust.
That's the challenge, and Finding Forex touches on this as well. They recommend focusing on threads and posts from experienced traders with proven track records. Look for people who consistently share insightful analysis and aren't just trying to pump and dump certain currencies.
So reputation matters.
Yeah,
It's like anything online, you have to be discerning.
exactly. And don't just take anyone's word for it. Always do your own research and verify the information you're seeing.
Okay, that makes sense. So we can use the forums to get a sense of what other traders are thinking and doing.
Yeah.
But can we actually use the forums to come up with our own trading ideas?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the most powerful uses of the forums. You can see what strategies people are using, what setups they're watching, what indicators they're following. It's like crowdsourcing your trading research.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's like having a team of analysts working for you, sharing their insights and ideas.
It's almost like that, but again, you have to be careful. Don't just blindly follow someone else's trade idea. Use it as a starting point. Do your own analysis and see if it aligns with your trading strategy and risk tolerance.
So it's about absorbing information, filtering it through your own lens, and making your own decisions.
Exactly. And the Forex Factory forums can be an incredibly valuable resource for that process.
I'm starting to see why so many traders swear by Forex Factory. It's not just about data. It's about connecting with the community, sharing ideas, and learning from each other's experiences.
It's a powerful combination. But let's be clear. The forums are just one piece of the puzzle. You still need a solid understanding of fundamental and technical analysis, risk management, and all the other core principles of Forex trading.
Right. The forums can amplify your knowledge and skills, but they can't replace them entirely.
Exactly. But used wisely, they can be a game changer for Forex traders.
This is really fascinating stuff. We've covered the economic calendar, actual versus forecast, and now the forums. What other hidden gems does Forex Factory have in store for us?
There's still more to uncover, but I think we've given our listeners a great foundation to start exploring Forex Factory on their own.
I agree. We've learned how to navigate the site, identify key data points, and even tap into the collective wisdom of the trading community. But before we wrap up, I'd love to get your take on the biggest mistake traders make when using Forex Factory.
That's a great question. I think the biggest mistake is relying on Forex Factory as their only source of information and analysis. It's a fantastic tool, but it's just one tool in your arsenal.
So it's about using Forex Factory in conjunction with other resources, not in isolation.
Exactly. Combine the insights you gain from Forex Factory with your own research, your own analysis, and your own trading plan. Don't let it become a crutch.
That's a really important point. Forex Factory can empower you, but it can't trade for you. You still need to put in the work and make your own decisions.
Absolutely. And remember, Forex trading is a continuous learning process. There's always something new to discover, new strategies to explore, new ways to refine your approach.
This has been a fantastic deep dive, and I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of what Forex Factory has to offer.
I agree, but I think we've given our listeners a great starting point.
Well said. And to our listeners, I hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore Forex Factory and discover its potential for yourself. Don't be intimidated by all the data and information. Start small, focus on the features that resonate with you, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Experimentation is key. We'll never know what works best for you until you try it out.
Hey, thanks for being here with Making Money with English. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
Right. But I'm curious what other tools and features on Forex Factory can really help us level up our trading game even further.
Well, one thing that Finding Forex highlights in their video is the importance of understanding market sentiment.
Market sentiment, what do you mean by that?
It's basically the overall mood or feeling of the market. Like, are traders generally bullish or bearish on a particular currency? And it's not just about the data itself, it's about how traders interpret that data and how that collective psychology can actually move the market.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
Exactly. If everyone believes a currency is going to go down, they start selling it off, and that selling pressure actually pushes the price down, even if the underlying economic fundamentals aren't that bad.
Wow, so it's like the market can create its own reality.
In a way, yeah. And that's why understanding market sentiment is so crucial for Forex traders.
Okay, but how do we actually gauge market sentiment? Is there like a sentiment meter on Forex Factory or something?
Not exactly, but Forex Factory can be really helpful in this regard.
How so?
Well, for one thing, it gives you access to a ton of different perspectives. You can see what analysts are saying, what traders are discussing in the forums, and that can give you a pretty good sense of the overall mood of the market.
So it's like crowdsourcing market sentiment.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You're tapping into the collective wisdom of the trading community.
I like that. But it also sounds like it could be easy to get overwhelmed with so many different voices and opinions out there.
It can be. That's why it's important to be discerning and to develop your own filter.
Filters, what do you mean?
Like criteria for evaluating the information you're seeing. Who's the source? What's their track record? Do they have any biases?
So it's like anything online, you have to be critical of the information you're consuming.
Exactly. Don't just take everything at face value.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about understanding market sentiment, but how do we actually use that information to make trading decisions?
Well, one way is to look for opportunities where the market sentiment is out of sync with the underlying economic fundamentals.
What do you mean?
Let's say the market is overly bearish on a particular currency, but the economic data is actually starting to improve. That can be a signal that the currency is undervalued and that there's potential for a price reversal.
So it's like finding those hidden gems that the market has overlooked.
Exactly. You're looking for opportunities where the sentiment is wrong and where you can potentially profit from a correction.
That sounds pretty advanced, though. How can Forex Factory help us with that?
Well, it gives you access to all the data and tools you need to make those kinds of assessments. You can track economic indicators, monitor news releases, analyze price charts, and even participate in discussions with other traders to get their perspectives.
So it's like having a research department at your fingertips.
In a way, yeah. It's all about using the resources available to you to make the most informed decisions possible.
This is really eye-opening. I'm starting to see Forex Factory in a whole new light.
It's not just a data portal. It's a platform for understanding the market and for connecting with other traders.
It's like a community almost.
Exactly. And that community aspect is something we'll explore in more depth in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I can't wait to hear more about that. But for now, I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on when it comes to understanding and leveraging market sentiment.
Absolutely. And remember, market sentiment is just one piece of the puzzle. There's so much more to explore on Forex Factory.
Exactly. So stay tuned, folks. We're just getting started. Okay, so we've explored a ton of cool features on Forex Factory, like the economic calendar, the actual versus forecast data, and even the forums. But now I'm curious, like for someone who's just starting out with Forex Factory, what's the best way to approach it? Any tips for not getting overwhelmed?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's easy to get lost in all the data and information, so I would say start small. Don't try to learn everything at once.
Okay, so pick one feature and really get comfortable with it.
Exactly. Like maybe start with the economic calendar. Learn how to filter for high-impact events, understand what those events mean, and then start incorporating that information into your trading.
Got it. So start with the basics and then gradually expand your knowledge.
Exactly. And as you become more familiar with the site, you can start exploring other features like the forums or the technical analysis tools.
Makes sense. So we've talked about how to navigate Forex Factory. What about specific trading strategies? Does Forex Factory lend itself to any particular approach?
Well, as we've discussed, it's a fantastic resource for fundamental analysis. You can use the economic calendar, the news releases, the actual versus forecast data to get a really strong sense of the economic forces driving the market.
Right, and you can use that information to inform your trade.
Exactly. But I'd also say Forex Factory can be incredibly useful for news trading.
News trading, what's that?
It's a strategy where you specifically trade around major news releases, like economic reports or central bank announcements. You're basically trying to capitalize on the volatility that often occurs in the market immediately after these events.
That sounds exciting, but also kind of risky.
It can be both, but that's why risk management is so crucial. You need to have a solid plan in place. Know your entry and exit points, and use stop-loss orders to protect yourself.
Okay, so it's about being prepared, not just jumping in blindly.
Exactly. And Forex Factory can give you the information you need to be prepared. You can see what events are coming up, get a sense of market expectations, and even gauge sentiment on the forums. It's like having a heads up before the game even starts.
I like that analogy. It's
Yeah.
about having an edge, understanding the playing field before you make your move.
Precisely. But I want to emphasize again that Forex Factory is a tool, not a magic bullet. It can give you insights, but it can't guarantee profits.
Right. It's still up to the trader to make smart decisions
Yeah.
based on the information they have.
Exactly. And that brings me to my final piece of advice for anyone using Forex Factory. Don't become overly reliant on it.
What do you mean by that?
I've seen traders get so caught up in the data and the forums that they lose sight of their own analysis and intuition. They become followers, not independent thinkers.
So it's about finding a balance using Forex Factory to inform your decisions. but not dictate them.
That's it, perfectly. Forex Factory can be an incredible resource, but it's most powerful when used in conjunction with your own knowledge, experience, and trading style.
This has been an amazing deep dive, and I feel like we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
I agree. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to learn. The key is to stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop refining your approach.
Well said. And for our listeners who are ready to take the next step in their Forex trading journey, I want to remind you about our sponsor, Forex Mentor Pro. They offer comprehensive training programs that can help you develop your skills, build your confidence, and navigate the market with greater clarity.
They're a great resource for traders of all levels, from beginners to more experienced folks looking to refine their strategies.
I completely agree. So if you're ready to level up your trading game, check out the link below to learn more about Forex Mentor Pro. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Forex Factory. We hope you found it valuable and insightful. Remember, knowledge is power in the world of Forex. And the more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this exciting and ever-evolving market. Until next time, happy trading.
Happy trading, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Making Money with English. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep growing together. See you next time here on Making Money with English.